Welcome, Kanayvel sir.
Good evening, sir. Warm welcome. I think Sivaprakasam sir is said to come. Will you be doing your talk first, sir?
Yeah, he has to pick up the phone. Probably he's killed up the case. Okay.
All right, sir. I think we have the other speaker will be joining a bit later, right, sir? Dr. T. N.
Yes.
Ravishankar, sir.
And
So maybe
he
we'll
will
start with
be
your talk, sir.
also ready. So, ready.
You are ready to give your talk, sir?
Okay.
Maybe we'll give another 5 more minutes, sir. People are just joining.
Yeah,
About 14 of
we'll
them have
go
joined.
back to
We'll
that.
give 5 more minutes, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm also, my net connection is poor here. The current is not there. Let's see.
Thank you. Warm welcome to all of you. Today we have yet another day of the online lectures. Online lectures are done by global experts who have been instrumental in creating a very unique content, first of its kind for the Commonwealth Medical Association. And every single leader has minimum of 30 to 40 years of experience in their own subspecialty. Today we have very eminent talks lined up. Three important talks: one on ethics in healthcare startups, virtues of ethics in leadership, medical code, and of ethics. So we have eminent speakers. Our own president, the president of the Commonwealth Medical Association, will be addressing first. Then we have Dr. T. N. Ravishankar. He is the convener of the CMA Subcommittee of Professional Development Initiatives. Then we have a colleague speaker from UK. He's a very senior transplant surgeon, and he is also a fellow of Commonwealth Association. So we have very interesting sessions lined up. I wish all of you stay aligned and get the maximum benefit of it. As a matter of fact, I have privilege in welcoming the first speaker for the day, Professor J. Jayalal, a man who does not need any introduction to the world of Commonwealth Medical Association. And he has been leading from the forefront during the very difficult phase of Indian Medical Association. He served as the president during the year of COVID. And then he had taken Indian Medical Association to greater heights and established very strong protocols and established discipline in the administration and had a very strong say in the policies of the government. Right now, he superannuated very recently from Government Tiruvannamala Medical College as a dean. And right now, he has taken over as dean of the CSA Medical College at Nayu. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor of listening to the ethical leadership affairs from none other than Professor J. Jayalal, our Commonwealth Medical Association president. Over to you, sir. Looking forward to hear from you. Sir, you are in mute mode, sir. Welcome. Good afternoon, Ravi, sir. Abul, sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, we are able to hear you, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Good afternoon, Abul, sir.
Online program. Is it audible, sir?
Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Can I, sir? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because my internet connection is little low.
Sir, I request you to switch off your video part alone, sir.
No, current is not there. Anyhow, right. Sir, can I wait for this?
Sir, Jayalal, sir, I request you to switch off your video, sir. You have only the slides on and speak, sir. That will reduce the bandwidth requirement.
Okay.
Switch off your video and continue to talk, sir. It will save some bandwidth. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We are able to hear you, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes. Today, the topic which we are going to discuss is on ethical leadership. The objective or the purpose for which we conducted this program of talking on bioethics and ethical principles on various issues is always to make sure that we are able to create the robust leaders on the ethical principles and ethical values. So if we can empower somebody to with the visions and virtues which is needed to be serve as an ethical leader, that is an objective, that is a purpose for which the whole conference is there. So our vision, we try to create many leaders, whether it is Indian Medical Association or the Commonwealth Medical Association. We try to create leadership. There are different types of leadership, different ways of leadership, and whatever kind of pattern of the leadership you adopt. But the ethical principles and values can be incorporated into that, and how best a leader can work on that ethical leadership. This is most of the time, it is my personal experience of serving in a leadership role in a different organization, government sector, church sector, and different areas. It is not different in one place to other place. And it is always something deep down in your heart. And if you can work and act as per the values and principles and ethos which you have, I think that can be translated as an ethical leadership. We know that ethics is a philosophy. Ethics is a dynamic one. It born out of your culture, your way of development, your home atmosphere, the learned education you get, and it is inner feeling. It is not somebody is pushing it on you, somebody is making it on, and it cannot be same what it is going to be the US and UK and what is it going to be in India and down south in a rural area. Somebody who is there in UK, the style of their functioning is entirely different from what we in a village and rural area we've done. So ethics has a different ramification. It comes from different inputs, different areas. And normally, I normally used to explain, if you go to interior of the Kerala, or the high end people or the rich people who there. If you enter into a house, I have seen many houses, they will have the front, the box, almara, will have a lot of liquor bottles. That was considered as a prestige for them. But if that is going to be there in a small areas, if the house, if you are entering into someone's house, you have a lot of liquor bottles, that will, they always think it in a bad way. So what I suggested this is, so ethics is what we say, it is not somebody is documenting and pushing it on us. It is all come out of the various experience one goes through, the various philosophy one who study and what he believes, various spiritual nurture you have. So all that is going to govern you for that. So ethical leadership is direct. The most important thing in an ethical leadership is respect for ethical beliefs and values and for the dignity and rights of the others. A leader, I always believe the definition of a leader is one who brings the best out of his followers. We have any leader, when you say, you will have somebody to follow you, somebody to take care of you, somebody to do your work. But it is the duty of the leader is to bring the best out of the people, whether you are a dean in a college and we are dealing with the professors, or you are the students, or the ordinary people, or in an organization you are dealing with your own people, and your ultimate aim should be always bring the best out of them and do the best to them. It is not for the self, it is not for your self glory. And when you are considering others in a higher pedestal than what is your self interest, and that ultimately that constitute an ethical leader. It is not a fixed definition. Ethical leadership is knowing your core values and having the courage to leave them in all parts of your life in service of the common good. Many of us have common beliefs. Many of us have common thing. And many of us, even in when you morning, when you get up, we think that we should not get angry with people. We should do always good to the people. But when we come out of that, the pressure which we face, the challenges which we get, we often lose our temper and try to behave in a different way. But ethical leader is one who is a composed one, irrespective of your situation, irrespective of your surrounding, irrespective of the pressures you are facing, your inner core values, inner beliefs, inner strength, you are going to depend upon that, and no one is going to change your attitude there. There are different kind of leadership we know. Authoritarian leadership, where he takes the decision and try to implement that decision in others. And the workers has only one thing to do. They have to only follow whatever the leader has to say. It is a strict hierarchical pattern, and you cannot have a question to question that. It is do, and then if you have any problem, you can come and ask. There's a military discipline like way. That is a one way of leadership that is also needed in some kind of atmosphere for that. And it is a absolute decision making. Other, which is little more relatively softer and ethical values more concerned, is a transformational leadership. It is a management style where leaders inspire, motivate the teams to exceed their expectation by fostering the shared purpose, continuous growth, and individual empowerment. I like this kind of leadership. There is also a important leadership where you understand your team and you take your priority that my aim is to empower my colleagues. It is not only the leader I act, it is everyone who is with me, everyone who is working with me must be empowered enough to do the more thing. And they have their inputs are always taken. They are given priority. They are given thing. A transformational leader will be, though he is authentic because his core values will be good, he will be always passionate, he will be honest, he will be attentive to the needs of that, he will be always supportive to the people, he will be more charismatic also, and more importantly, the leader must be adaptable to the situation and without losing our core value. There is a one kind of leadership which many of the organizations will like to have, a transformational leadership. The third is a transactional leadership. Transactional leadership is also a management style which is based on a system, rewards and consequences, a carrot and stick approach. And we have a set pattern. This has to be done. And if you do well, you get a reward. If you don't do well, you will get a punishment. Like a teacher who gets a class. A good student will always get appreciation. The bad student will have a beating or some kind of harassment which we face. And there is in certain type of things, it is also useful. He clear the expectations of well known for them. If somebody has to come by 8 o'clock, and if the leader sits at the watch, the table and look at the watch and say 8:05, so you are not come, so you are late, you are not good man, so you are punishable person. And somebody who has come by 8 o'clock is a good person, because that's a standard which is set on that. This is always a reward and punishment way of. Here, the employees will not have any independency. Their creativity cannot be come out, and they will be, if somebody is weak on some part, they will continuously be in a difficult era. We know, like, if you are asking a duck to participate in a running competition, it will always come in a level. It is not adaptable or tailor-made to your people. It is always a strict. That is a transactional leadership. But what is ethical leadership? Ethical leadership is one, it is encompassing all these things. It is a different kind of leadership, where the 8 important qualities are the traits which are mainly set. One is the integrity. We'll come to that little more details in that. Safety, and he leads by example. He always behave in a trustworthy way. He will empathetic. He will be socially responsible. All his actions will be transparent. Nothing hide and seek will not be there. He always promote equity, diversity, and inclusiveness. That is the most important thing. And if you are organizing, working in a leader, if you have 100 people, if you are only going to have the pet people and the good people with you, and you are neglecting the people who are not up to the mark, that is also not a good leadership, where the inclusivity, that including everybody and bringing the best out of each one of them, is the most important thing. The most important criteria which you need to see, and how your eyes are looking at this. Every individual has something good, something bad. If a leader is going to look at the bad thing, and you will be always a bad leader. And if you are a good leader, you are going to look only at the good things of an individual. If an individual per se, and whatever the good he has, and if you can look at the goodness, and it is going to be the most important thing. So, like, ethical leader is an inclusive, encompassed leader. There is a much more leadership which I love and I like most. Is a servant leadership. It's a servant model leadership. That is it is not the leader is one who is being in the top or in the front row. He is going to be in the back and work along with the people and give the credit to the people. It is a philosophy of the management where the leader's primary goal is to serve and empower their team rather than exercising the authority. In every position, when you are there as a leader, you will have a lot of authority. It is not the priority to exercise authority on others, but empower them, be with them, help them, and be empathetic to them, be listening to them, whatever they say, that, and be aware of them. And somebody is coming daily late to the particular program, and try to realize the reason, try to understand why they are going to come. It is not just punishing them for not coming. It's not an ideal way. And more so, I love in a servant model leadership is a healing. How we are going to heal them. And every person in this world has some iniquities, some difficulties. But the leader is trying to poke on the wound which he has, and put the something which is damaging their feelings and making their self declining and demeaning them, criticizing them. It is only going to further aggravate their wound and their depression. But if a leader and a servant model leader, if you can be there to try to heal their whether it can be their professional, their family, their social aspect, and if you can conceptualize certain things, persuasion things, and give us stewardship, and make them to understand it is a commitment. And when we are going to say that you have done this and you are appreciating them, so all that is going to help in a way we call as a servant leadership. So we have seen authoritarian leadership, transactional leadership, transformational leadership, or servant model leadership. But all this encompass an ethical leadership, servant model. And if you see the leadership style and what they do, and this slide, I just want to concentrate on that. How, when you talk about an ethical leader, what is the difference which you are going to say? Authoritarian always say a control, strict rules, and he seek obedience. It is good. It is something necessary for an army. when you are working in a crisis situation, when you are working in an emergency situation, yes, it is mandatory. And if you are going to be an affectionate leader in a crisis situation, that cannot be a good leadership style. So authoritarian leadership is also a good style, but an ethical leader is not trying to focus on the rules. He is trying to focus on the fairness, the transparency. It is not a individually I do, but the teamwork. And it is not the top-down leadership. It is a bottom-up leadership. It is the from the lower end level people to try to hear them, try to listen to them, and what is their feeling, and try to bring up. Then you can set the goals, and everything can be set in consultation with them. So that is in a transformational leadership. That is also a very good kind of leadership, where people have inspiring, innovative, and inclusive things there, the transformational. But ethical leadership emphasize on the doing the right thing consistently, not just for rally, not for the sake of others. It is for your conviction that you are going to do this. Maybe it is hurt somebody. Maybe it is going to even hurt yourself. But if you are going to do something because your core value says that is the right thing to do, and the core value says it is a good thing to do. I have seen many times when you are in a class, when you are in a college, and we are over enthusiastically taking class, or when you are doing something extra work, people will always try to niggle you or criticize you. But if your core value says, and I must do this for the sake of others, and it's not for my own benefit, and that is what an ethical leader thinks of that. He is going to do it consistently. It is not the others' appreciation or others' criticism is going to change you, because you are not going to live by what others are going to say. You are going to live by what you are believing and what is your core value. A servant model leadership is the aim is putting the team's needs first. But it is not only putting the need first, but also the ethical leader little more, one step ahead. He talks about care about the team, and always balance it with the integrity and its principles. And it is almost equivalent to an ethical leadership. You have a servant model leadership, and transactional leadership is something which go beyond the incentives, and it is again focusing on the values and ethical accountability in each thing. So ethical leadership is one of the most prominent or effective, impactful leadership style, where the leader not putting on his authority, not putting on his the highness and the halo around you, but consider others as equal, considers others as God's own creation, considers others as different kind of people in a different position God has placed for doing a particular objective job, and encompass them, include them, understand their values, understand their difficulty, and try to, without losing the organizational values, and if we can work together, and that is going to be the most important thing. This is one of called as a Chanakya on ethical ideals of Chanakya ethical leadership. These are the 5 important things. One of the most important person who followed this is Abdul Kalam, and whatever it is one of his favorite words also, the Chanakyas on ethical leadership. 5 things which we emphasize on this. One, the people welfare as the ultimate goal. The Praja Sukhe Sugam Rajya. It is always, and whatever you do, it is not the credit what you are going to get. It is not the benefit what you are going to get. It is not that if somebody is going to reward you, somebody is going to give you some kind of promotion or whatever you like. But if you are always the people who are with you, the team, the community, the society is the ultimate goal. Then many times we know when there is a patient comes in the casualty, and if you the leader, doctor look at the watch and says my duty is over, so I cannot spend time here, then that is not the way. Yes, it is duty, time is important. But when it comes and in seek, when you need to go and beyond that, an extra mile, and when you are going to walk, that is going to count. Many times we go to the malls and the shopping malls and buy things. We never remember the person who has sold the things to us. We never remember the salesman or the sales girl, because it is not touching our heart. It is not something they do extra to touch you. It is only the money you are paying, and the money you are giving, you are getting something. But that is what now today the hospital, the doctor, and the leadership also comes. The leader is there, and nothing personal with the people. It is something routine. They come, they sign, and you talk, yes, say good morning, they also say good morning, that go. That level is only an ordinary level. But as a leader, if you can go beyond that, an extra mile you walk to talk about their welfare, to talk about their problems, to understand them, and if that is what is going to be there, that is most important for the criteria to call you as an ethical leadership. So the first and foremost thing, an ethical leader always and inevitably, they consider the people's welfare as the ultimate goal for him to achieve the things in his life. The second virtue which the ethical leader must have, personal virtues, and this is most important thing. And you can be a good leader, but if your life is not going to be an example of your integrity person, a life is going, if you are up to morning 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I am doing like this. After 10 o'clock, it is my time, so I can do whatever I want. I can do anything which I like. And that kind of concept now percolating with among the society and leaders. And I have one, I am the top man. I do not talk about my personal life. Nobody can have the right to question my personal life. What do I do after the working hours? And that is not right of an ethical leader. Ethical leader is going to be a 24 hours leader. It is not going to be a leader when you are sitting on the chair, and even outside the chair, even outside your the campus, outside your organization, and you are going to show the integrity, the self-discipline, and the words of wisdom, the language which you are using, the dress you are maintaining, the style with which you are approaching other people, the confidence which you are going to, as even somebody by the workplace, they might have shared something confidential with you, and how you are going to keep that confidence within you. So all that counts if you want to be a good ethical leader, the personal virtues which makes that. And the third is a realistic and pragmatic governance. This is again the most important thing. And especially when you are sitting in a hierarchical organizational structure, there is a top man over you, there are people behind you, and you are in the middle man as a leader. If somebody who is in the top is shouting at you, if you are going to translate the same anger and same shouting to your lower level of people, and that is not a ethical leadership. And you must be the buffer. You must be the self-absorbing. You must be able to tolerate that. If somebody has bombarded your institution for something which is done, maybe it is because of your lower, your stuff you are doing there, or stories and many areas where a word which is said by a king at any point of time, he cannot withdraw that. If it is he has put an order on a seal by the king, even if it has to make his son to succumb to that, somebody who is close to him has to face the punishment. The Raja Dharma do not allow the person to withdraw that punishment, withdraw that state. So this is one of the most important thing. When you want to be ethical, even if it is going to hurt you, even if it is going to bring pain in your heart, even if it is going to bring something which is unpleasant to you, but whatever the words you have said, whatever the promises you have made, whatever the decisions you have taken, and you are supposed to follow that. And you are not there to that the duty which you have has to be most important than your self-interest. It many times it has. Even if you are a teacher going to be an examiner for something, if your own son is going to be there, write in the exam, and if you have to follow the strict rule, and if you are not able to do that, and then yourself is overtaking you than your duty. This many times this is one of the big problem the leaders face. It's the pressure. It comes in the form of a leader. We have seen in many films when the judge has to give a report, final judgment. The villain will kidnap his granddaughter or the child, and from the mic he will call. And if you are changing the order, otherwise I will kill them. But what you are going to do? It is a decision of a difficult decision. But if you are following a Raja Dharma, if you are an ethical leader, and you have to make sure your duties are much more important than your self-interest, and that is a very, very important. And the fifth one is a strong institutional framework and the rule of law. This is again very important. Just because you have an authority, you are going to be ethical leader, and you cannot change the institutional rule or institutional law or the governmental law, governmental rule. With all the wisdom and the knowledge, the parliamentarians, the legal people, the government has set forth some rules, set forth some decisions. And those decisions has to be, and you are given as a governor or as a person of ambassador of that. It is a very important role to take care of that. So the 5 Chanakya's principles, which we insist on ethical leadership, is people welfare as the ultimate goal. Your personal virtue, the self-discipline, self-control, self-integrity, self-wisdom. And the third is a realistic and pragmatic governance. It is not that enforcement of what is there, somebody has told you, but it is you take a decision and do that. And most importantly, the Raja Dharma and institutional thing. And we say that 4 important, when you talk about ethics, we have used 4 words repeatedly. One is autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. Similarly, there are 4 important pillars which we talk in ethical leadership. One is integrity. I'll come to that. Do what is right, even when it is going to be costly, even when it is going to be no one is watching you, even when somebody somebody is going to notice that, and doing the right thing is integrity. Accountability and taking the ownership of choices and their impact. Something you have taken a decision, and this way we are going to do. Suppose that is going to fail, that is going to create a problem. And if you are going to put your blame on your subordinates and your juniors, and then it is not that ethical leader. And if you are a part of the team, and if your team is doing something, it is your duty to take the accountability for that entire action which you have done, and entire thing to that. That is an empathy, which we have many times we have discussed on that. We'll also see that a little more in details. Then lead with the humanity, not with the hierarchy. It is not that thinking that I am the top man and all others are people are the lower you, and you must always consider it is a unit where everyone is same. It is not that somebody thought no anybody can do, but nobody has done. That is a big story we used to tell. But it is important. It is not the hierarchical way, but it is a humanity way. The most important is a courage to stand for truth, even standing alone. I personally believe, and this is the one quality which makes a leader or breaks a leader. If you have taken a decision, and you had when you started the project, if 100 people are there with you, and slowly when everybody is going out, and you have to sometimes stand alone and face the onslaught, and even at that moment, the courage with which you have started should never die off. And that courage, that confidence in the storm or in the sun or in the rain, or it is whatever the kind of big typhoon or whatever it is, but you are not going to bend down. The ethical leader will never bend down for the decisions which he has taken, and then it will be always good. In another way of explaining an ethical leadership is 3 important things: your values, the vision which you have, and the voice you are making for that. And it is again, this is a 4V model which we talk when you are training about the ethical leadership. See, when you are understanding your principles and values, you are taking a decision and implementing that. So it is a vision, values, and then you are going to act on that. And there are 6 elements we say which define ethical leadership. Honesty, which already we talked about. Honesty makes ethical leader. Justice, there are different kind of justice. Last class we talked about distributive ethics and relate to justice. So that is justice we talk. Respect and for others. The integrity, which we talked more, and the responsibility, taking the responsibility for the action, and most importantly, transparency. That is also most important things. So you have seen a lot of leadership. You are ethical leader. What are the traits, or what are the noticeable things which you can see on an ethical leader? They know their internal compass and values at any point of time. However it is, I can cite example. And if you are saying that I have done this for the peer pressure, you are going to be a group. If you say that all of them are drinking, so I am also drinking. All of them are smoking, I am also smoking. So that is not that the leader. I'm not saying about the smoking or this which is right or wrong. I'm not going to the debate. But whatever you do, it must be born out of the core values, core principles, core ethos, which you are having then. The second one, and they will have the ethical behavior. It is 24 hours. It is not that you have dressed up in a neat way, sitting in your office time as a pakka gentleman. Then after that, you are going to in a different mood and different way after 10 o'clock. We have one friend, we used to say, before 10 o'clock, it is a cauliflower, and after 10 o'clock, is a cauliflower. So that kind of integrity, compartmentalization shall not be there. It is an ethical leader will always have a constant ethical behavior. And ethical leader is not one who is going to tolerate somebody is going to deviate from ethical way. And again, this is a very important thing. If you are in a room, if you have a colleague who is going to do a surgery, but he is fully drunk, and what you are going to do? And are you going to say, let him do and let him face the complaint? Or are you going to be morally responsible for him, your brother, and going to say that this is not right and stop? Maybe he may be bully on you. They may be shout at you, but you have a duty. If someone else is deviating from ethical code, ethical way, and you have to do that. And they always act with a fairness. It is not that somebody who is close to you, when they are going to commit a mistake, you say, no, he is my friend, I am not going to scold him. That should not be there at any point of time. When you are sitting as an administrator, when you are sitting as a leader, even maybe somebody maybe very close to you personally, even if they are not up to the mark, committed, doing the things. And it is always you have a fairness you need to execute in your meetings, in the way you conduct the meetings, the way you do that. It is not that once you must be able to hear even the people who oppose you. You must be able to tolerate to smile at them.
Sir, maybe sir is having some technical hitches. So any questions in this will be addressed by him when he joins back. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have Professor Rajesh Shivaprakasam here? Rajesh sir? All right. I think we have Professor T. N. Ravishankar sir. Ravishankar sir, are you with us, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Warm welcome to you, sir. Friends, Dr. T. N. Ravishankar and Indian Medical Association is like brother and sister. Sir has served the IMA for the past 4 to 5 decades, in fact, from his time of his medical college days. And later, he has served very, like I would say, a unique person who has served at multiple leadership positions in the IMA. And he focuses heavily on medical ethics, clinical practice guidelines, consent in medicine, and leadership in healthcare quality. He has his own setup at Tambram, and he, in fact, has had his diploma in family medicine from Colombo. And he is those who are not knowing about background, he's a medical legal expert, and he has done his PGDMLE also. And he has an exceptional management talent and leadership talent, and he has done his MBA also along with this qualification. So, friends, we move on to the talk by Professor T.N. Ravi Shankar. He happy the subcommittee of professional development initiative, where Sir will be addressing regarding the medical code of ethics. Professor T.N. Ravi Shankar, sir, warm welcome to you. We look forward to hear you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kanagavel sir. You are able to hear me?
Sir, you are loud and clear, sir. Your slides are seen well.
Just a minute, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Perfect, sir. Your slides are seen well, sir. You are good to go, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice words. But then I had never been a teaching faculty in any medical college to receive the professorship. Thanks, Kanagavel sir, for giving me the honor today, receiving the professorship
deserve much
during
more,
the
sir.
Commonwealth meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
When we are talking about Commonwealth, it is all credit goes to Professor Jailal, who has done a yeoman service in the last 1.5 years. Leave alone what he had done for the IMA and every other thing. Let me go on to the topic. He was talking so beautifully on the leadership quality. Somehow we could not continue on that. We have the 5 days. I think you're all been listening to things happening in the medical fraternity in relationship with the Commonwealth Medical Association, and to the end of the day, to the end of the course, I think they have put down the topic medical code of ethics, very much close to my heart, and let me go through it. It will be too elaborate if I go in details of everything, but then how it has got evolved. They're talking about bioethics and all these things. I think for the last, last 5 days, we have been talking about bioethics. Just to recollect, it's a study of medicine, biology, and healthcare. And it provides a guidelines in decision making in medical practice and also in research. I think in 1979, Dom Bisham and James Childress published the first edition of Principle of Biomedical Ethics. That is the evolution of biomedical ethics, which the AA has given for you all. And I am just putting it there from the Hippocratic Oath in the pre-20th century, then in the 40s of Nuremberg's Code, Declaration of Helsinki. Everybody will be aware when they start reading, when they start joining the medical college, it will be told to everybody. Then in the 70s and 80s, your ethics committee, Belmont report, and then the growth of science created genetics, global bioethics in the 90s, and that is where now we are talking about bioethics. And today there is 2 other components that has come into the system is AI and the pandemic that we saw some few years ago, the COVID. Doctor, patient, societal and global ethics, with medical ethics now guiding research, technology and the professional practice. And this is what we have been talking in the last 5 days. Again and again, let me recollect, acting in the best interest of the patient that is beneficious, non-maleficious, not harm. Autonomy is giving respect to the patient's ideas, thoughts, and individually, and justice and trying to be fair in providing the medical management or whatever that has to be given by a medical professional to the society. And this is from where we have been taking it up, the Universal Declaration of Bioethics and Human Rights in 2005, 28 provisions. I think Dr. Girish spoke about it in detail from Article 1 to Article 28. Everything has been a guidelines for the Code of Medical Ethics that is being evolved all over the world in the respective countries, be it the World Medical Association or from the Commonwealth Medical Association. But all the practical implications for the clinicians has been guiding the clinical practice, balancing between the autonomy and beneficiaries, while research is also guided with all full way how it has to be done. Policy and law that is being enacted by the country according to the needs that take place. In India, we know about the PCP Act way back. Today, we have the Transplant of Human Organ Act, and every act that is being enforced by the government whenever they find certain things are going haywire and there is no control over it. The modern challenges now we know is the AI and machine learning, euthanasia, all these things. Even way back, all had the guidelines. The only thing the guidelines have not been there for AI and machine learning, the genetic testing that has evolved over the time. The Code of Medical Ethics in India was adopted from the Medical Council of India into the Code of Medical Ethics of the National Medical Commission when they constituted it, abandoning the Medical Council of India. It was adopted in total by an order dated 6th April 2002 and had been amended on and off. And now today there is something else has also come into the Code of Medical Ethics, the medical board's guidelines for the medical practitioners and for the state and medical councils. You have 8 sections in the Code of Medical Ethics, starting with the Code of Medical Ethics, which has 9 subsections. The duties of the physicians to their patient, which runs into 5 subclauses. From the duties of physician in consultation, that has 7 sections. Responsibilities of physicians to each other has been 5. Duties of physician to the public and to the paramedical profession is hardly 3. And the unethical acts come to 8. There is a lot of emphasis that has been kept in 2018 on the medical practitioner's relationship with the pharma and the health sector industry, which has been specially given importance. And even if you go and see it on the website, when everything is black, this alone is being given in red letters in the NMC's site. The misconduct, which runs about 24, and punishments and disciplines are 8. So unethical act, misconduct is one where none of us should go into it. And that is why we have the first 5, which are very, very important in our day-to-day practice. There are 4 appendix, which gives on declaration what a declaration happens when a medical practitioner joins the profession, and he needs to declare the way how he practices. There are appendix on leave and extension and fitness certificate, which has been a very, very core product 30-40 years back, when everybody insisted on the medical professional certificate for anything. And there is a format of medical record. That's a discharge summary in the hospital. And there is a list of certificates and notification based on acts which need to follow. The format of medical records continues to be in the same small format, while things have changed or evolved a lot based on the hospitalizations, the corporates and the small sectors. But then the core information that has to be given continues to be the same in the medical records. I'm going to talk not elaborately on all the 8 sections. I'm going to talk relevance of all these things with the 4 concepts of the bioethics. That is, now we look into the autonomy of bioethics from the National Medical Commission's code. Section 121, maintenance of good medical practice. I think every medical practitioner would want to do a good medical practice and with patients' dignity and to gain their confidence, so that you are well popular in the society when you are doing a good practice. Medical record assess. It has been given there that the patients the attenders have the right to request for medical records, which need to be provided within 72 hours. This supports informed decision making and transparency, while the 72 hours has been extended to 5 days in the guidelines. MERB's guidelines have extended to 5 days. And then, but this same section has been varying in different states based on the Clinical Establishment Act. But when the court goes into any proceedings or anything, they will always take the medical council's words as a final authority, though the states will have their different for their own convenience. Section 2.2 was on patient delicacy and secrecy. You need to maintain the confidentiality of the patient. Every one of you know that. You are not supposed to reveal the information of the patient's ailment or any of their character to anybody. The previous one, the record access and this patient delicacy, these are two things that are today now part of the insurance sector, which has been growing in every country. When the insurance sectors have a tri-party agreement with the patient and with the hospital, all these informations are supposed to be given to the insurance company for the benefit of financial remuneration to the patient, and these clauses have been included in the insurance sector. As far as the prognosis, patients must neither exaggerate nor minimize a patient's condition and must ensure patients and family are adequately informed. Neither can you say something beyond the scope of an ailment. You can only tell the side effects, complications that can happen, but you can't say when the patient is suffering from tuberculosis, he is suffering from malignancy. Two different diagnoses, and that is not been allowed by the Code of Medical Ethics to be informed to the patient, and every time you need to give the proper adequate information about the patient. If you are not sure about the diagnosis, you keep your fingers crossed and tell them you need to await for the information based on the diagnostics that the results will be giving it. So it is very, very important that you give a proper information and proper communication, nothing exaggerated nor minimizing a patient's condition. Patient must not be neglected. Once you take care of a patient, you need to continue to the treatment. And in any situation, when you have to leave the patient, go out for something extraordinary request in your family or any other circumstance, you need to properly hand over to another competent, equally competent person, and then only you can leave the patient. And if you have taken care of a patient in an emergency, obstetrics or a pediatrics, which is not your core subject, which is not your qualification, once you receive the appropriate specialist, you need to inform the patient and get away. Even before you take over the patient, you need to tell them that you are not qualified for that specialty to treat that patient, but on an emergency basis, you are treating the patient. And once the respective consultant drops in, I think you have to leave the patient informing them. Statement to patient after consultations. When you have a difference of opinion with your own colleagues, you are not supposed to inform them, but tell them appropriately that we need to take the opinion of certain people. And if you are not comfortable with one opinion, request the patient to go for a second opinion or a third opinion, but then never let down your own colleagues or never let down the patient at that point of time. Human rights. Patient must not aid, physicians must not aid or abet torture or conceal trauma. Respecting human rights is inseparable from respecting autonomy. Somebody is giving harm to the patient. You find something happening in a hospital which is not fair, or if some relatives or some caretaker is not doing the right thing, then it is your duty to tell to the patient that these are not right. You need to change about it. And euthanasia, we'll talk a bit later. Decision about withdrawal of life support requires a team of doctors. Ensure that no single physician overrides a physician or family's right. This respects a balance of autonomy with ethical safeguard. Today, advanced will is another one which has come in the vogue, and we need to be aware of that. That's all a medical legal issues. Beneficiaries. The prime object of the medical profession states that the primary duty of physician is to render service to the humanity, with financial gain being secondary. This reflects beneficiaries as a central goal. Treating the patient is the utmost important, and the financial gain is one that comes automatically, and you can't put primarily the financial gain to treat a patient to become normal. Your duty as a medical professional, having taken the declaration that you are a medical professional, treating the patient is of utmost importance. Good medical practice, I think we already saw it. Only thing, we need to continually improve our knowledge and skill and make these available to patients and their colleagues and your colleagues. This ensures patients benefit from the best possible care, and that is why a CME of this nature or a continuous professional development, as said by the medical board, is need to be followed by the medical practitioners. This is one profession where we need to learn until we go to the grave. If not, you will be outdated. Somebody might overtake you, or somewhere you might be cutting across a wrong figure with the patients when they ask you a question, because Google gives them lots of information, good and bad. You need to segregate that and tell them appropriately. Unless you have the knowledge and skill, unless you are updated, you may not do it. And that is what is called maintaining good medical practice. Highest quality assurance in patient's care. That is where the NABH and all these things come to play. Patient safety and quality and care are there. This protects patients from harm and promotes welfare. Obligation to the sick. Patients should respond to the call of the sick and injured, and in emergencies must treat patients. I think as a physician, wherever you are, when there is a call for an emergency, even if you are not qualified in that specialty, you need to provide the first aid and then refer to the appropriate place and follow up the patient where they are and how good they are to be supported. These are all the beneficial. Some more sections are there. Prognosis. Physicians must provide accurate information. I think we already saw about it. Proper, must not be neglected or abandon a patient when they need your treatment. All consultations must prioritize the benefit on patient, not other considerations. That's what investigations or on the pharma, that should not be the primary goal. If a patient doesn't need a medication, all it needs a psychotherapy or a comfort or a physiotherapy or a walking or a lifestyle changes, you need to tell that alone. And you can't cross your limit that's from the standard protocol and go about trying to prescribe unnecessary drugs. Public and community health. It's the duty of the physician to give a proper information to the society about the health advices, about a disease, about the complications that happen. I think everybody will be aware how the government went about, how the WHO went about, how every state went about during the COVID time, giving an appropriate information to the public so that the public followed, and we are all still alive to see the world, the best in the world. Human rights, patients, physicians must not aid in abetting or torture. Again, these are all overlaps of the 4 pillars of bioethics. Do no harm, section supporting non-malafide. Again, the quality assurance physicians must prevent incompetent individuals from practicing medicine. There are times when there are people in the society might reach you out for a certificate that they are competent. Such a certificate not be given. It means that you are abetting an unqualified people to treat society. Society is one which always takes whatever that is being provided to them, good or bad. Somebody keeps telling it again and again. Patient wants to go there. And those people, if they get a certificate from you and display it in the clinic, you are abetting, and that is coming under non-malafide. Exposure of unethical conduct. Even if your own colleagues have some corrupt or dishonest or incompetent practice, it is your duty to prevent the patient from getting into the trouble. And it is also your responsibility to inform the council that such a thing is happening. Evasion of legal restrictions. Lots and lots of acts are there, from pharmacy, MTP, hormone, human organ transplant. Everything is there. It's your duty to read about it, learn about it, and
I'm sorry. I was continuously talking at this proper. I have not noticed. Okay.
Jailal?
Okay. I have not noticed it was cut off because I was continuously talking. That no problem, sir. Go ahead.
Sir, shall I finish it up? Or,
yeah, please go ahead.
The obligation to the sick. Physicians must not arbitrarily refuse treatment in emergencies, neglect urgent care, could cause harm, so that duty reflects non-maleficence. That's what we said. In any emergency, they have to.
Yes, you are Alan, huh?
Yes, sir.
Confidentiality prevents harm from breach of trust or misuse of sensitive
you're finished, no?
information. I think these are all the overlapping between the 4 pillars of bioethics. Some more: patients must not be neglected, consults for patients' benefit, secret remedies. No individual doctor can have a secret remedy of treatment. What is available in the society, what is being accepted by the respective governments or the council alone has to be given. If there is going to be any secret remedies that are being followed, that are being mixed or given by the individual doctor to the patient, these are all coming under unethical acts. So there can't be any secret remedies. The human rights will have to be respected. Again, euthanasia is coming into the non-maleficence. Now we go on to the last pillar of the bioethics is justice. Again, good practice, payment of professional service. Physicians must announce free transparently and avoid exploitation contracts. The council clearly says that no cure, no payment cannot be the slogan to encourage patients from reaching you. It's clearly violation of the Code of Medical Ethics. These are things that had happened some 30, 40 years ago when patients demanded that cure guarantee. Even now, we cannot guarantee cure as per the Code of Medical Ethics. Again, the legal law that is there, obligation to the 6, patient must not be neglected. All these come under the justice. Statement to patient after consult, I think we already seen. Physician as citizen, physicians must cooperate with authorities enforcing public health law, ensuring justice at the community level. I think people who had crossed the COVID, physicians who have worked during COVID will all know how much the medical fraternity had cooperated. This is here where we always have to inform the local authority about the prevalence of disease, about infectious disease in the society. That is on a community basis. Then only the government can find out the source of infection and take the sanitary request action so that the disease doesn't spread to the community. These are all justifiable justice that we need to follow the Code of Medical Ethics. Human rights and euthanasia once again is there. Euthanasia is not allowed in any country except in only one European country. I think the present day there are lots and lots of rules that are there. If things have to be taken as per the patient's request, that is a totally different topic. And all these things put together in a tabular column of autonomy, beneficiaries, non-maleficence, justice, which are there in two different slides, I think, which will not be there, very important. But all these things are coming into 4 major issues of autonomy, beneficiaries, non-maleficence, justice. And these are the key insights that the Code of Medical Ethics that has provided for us to follow so that we do justice to the society for being a medical practitioner. There are ethical guidelines that have been formed now. The Code of Mode of Medical Ethics versus ethical guidelines. It is not vice versa for each other. It is only a complementary for each other that is there. What is NMC's Code of Medical Ethics as a legal status? It is a statutory regulation under Section 57 of the NMC Act 2019, legally binding all registered medical practitioners. Everyone who possesses a basic MBBS will have to follow the entire NMC's Code of Medical Ethics. Ethical guidelines of NMC's Ethical Board is an advisory interpretative guidelines issued by EMR. It is not statutory, but it gives a certain amounts of discipline to be followed, and proceedings has to be followed according to that. The ethical guidelines, if there is an inquiry, will follow this advisory board. The scope, it covers the professional conduct, patient's right, record keeping, telemedicine, CPD requirements, advertisement restrictions, conflicts of interest, etc. But in NMC's guideline, it gives a safe way. Here I will have to talk a bit about the Section 8, which I have written earlier in the slides before, an advisory capacity as far as the relationship of the medical professionals with the pharma and allied health industries. And I have told you it has got sections which are really red in color. Neither you nor your family members can receive any remuneration or support from the pharma or allied healthcare industries. The enforcement's violations can lead to disciplinary action, such as suspension, cancellation of license or penalties, or the complaints are adjudicated to the EMRB with statutory backing. While in the medical board used as a references in disciplinary hearing to interpret ethical breaches but cannot independently be imposed on the individual practitioners. Binding effort, it's mandatory. While we have to follow the NMCs, if we have to renew your license once in 5 years, which has been linked to the continuous professional development credit points. This is the same thing that is there, which we need to follow. The same way, when you're talking about Commonwealth Medical Association, where our president is there, there is a good medical practice that has also been guided from the guidelines that has been given to the General Medical Council of the UK, which also had been published in August 23. I think almost all the countries keep following these guidelines. When they have their code of medical ethics, they now have got a guidelines. So also the NMC has got that guidelines, and these are some of the guidelines of the GMC, which also correlates with everything. Whatever I have told is almost the same, but then these are guidelines for the council members to follow when there are unethical practices. A few examples I just wanted to correlate with the NMC's Code of Medical Ethics and the GMC's guidelines. Almost everything is the same. Patient can request for record. There's dignity, the right to choose, informed consent is there. Protect patient's privacy unless law requires disclosure as such when you are legally, and all these things. The same thing is there. The informed consent, valid consent is required. Patients and family must be fully informed. Evidence-based information must be shared as per the guidelines of the GMC. Statement after consultation, and human rights upholds dignity and autonomy. And that in the guidelines of the GMC, which says compassionate, communicate with these close to the patient. In the beneficial same way, service to humanity above financial gains. The same is also there, evidence-based treatment, kindness and courtesy, support for patient's decision, and all these things. Both of them almost overlap. Only thing, the guidelines help people in the medical council or the general medical council whenever there is a complaint of unethical or unprofessional conduct that is there. But all these things are patients oriented. Non-malafide, the same way. Quality assurance, exposure of unethical conduct, legal complaints, confidentiality, secret remedies are prohibited, avoid unsafe drugs, euthanasia, justice, again, transparent fees, no exploitation, equal access to urgent care. All these things are almost the same between the NMC's Code of Medical Ethics and GMC's guidelines. I have kept particularly unethical and all these things as the last section, because this is where none of us should get entangled, and we need to be very, very clear about it. What are unethical acts that are there, which are there? Eight sections are there. An act that violates the professional standards, etiquette, or code of ethics laid down by doctors, even if it may not be illegal. What is legal, what is not legal is known, and what is legal is all been told by the NMCs. Advertising, I told you, soliciting patients directly, indirectly, claiming superiority, using unreasonable large signboards cannot be done. Advertisement for a medical practitioners can be done only in 6 different situations, and that too within 3 months. Acquiring a new degree, changing your practice, coming back to your homeland, and changing your type of practice, switching over to your hospital, and all these things only within the first 3 months. And there are 6 sections in that for that. Commissioning and fee sharing is an unethical act, that is why 6-8 has all been given a lot of importance, and it are there in red letters from the pharma industry or from the diagnostics and all these things. These are unethical acts. giving or receiving commission for referrals, prescriptions, and investigations. Conflict of interest, doctors having financial interest in a pharmacy and lab, he refers to patient. No doctor can have a pharmacy license in his name. That is what the next one, 3 and 4 almost come to be the same. Running an open pharmacy, dispensing medicine from own pharmacy for profits is an unethical act. Endorsement of a product, endorsement of a drug or an institution cannot be done which falls under the unethical act. Refusal to treat for any religious reason or community religion or whatever it is not allowed. They are all unethical acts, and in an emergency, you need to give the first aid that is needed for the patient. Let's see some professional misconduct. It's a more serious violation. It means doing an act which is punishable under the law or grossly against professional norms. The norms is laid down by the Code of Medical Ethics and can lead to disciplinary action like suspension and cancellation of licenses. Some of the acts, criminal act, you might be involved in something outside, and a court might have passed a judgment against you. The courts will automatically refer that to the respective state medical or the National Medical Commission, and the commission can take the court's judgment and act against you and can give a level 5 punishment. Sex determination, as per the PCPNT Act, if you don't follow it, violate, you can taken to task by the authorities. False certificate, issuing fake medical certificate, death certificates or disability certificates, or even a leave and fitness certificate, not in the patients, not in the individuals who had really needed the need. These are all false certificates. Everybody will know what is a false certificate. And if you provide that false certificate, you can lay down into trouble. It comes under professional misconduct, where you can take a level 2 of punishments. Drug violations, you can't prescribe banned drugs. Neither can you consume a banned drug, neither consume an alcohol and sit in your professional practice. That's a professional misconduct. Sexual misconduct with patients, I think people might think why it has been there, but there are people who had been convicted with these sections by the court themselves. A gross negligence cannot be decided by a medical council, but then there are times that the courts will go about to prove that you have done a gross negligence. Repeated unethical acts, whatever that had been told in the previous slides, and lots of things are there. There are 24 subsections in the professional misconduct. And if after a warning, if they are being charged with an unethical act, and if you continue to do that, then it becomes a misconduct, and you go to the level 5 of punishments or penalties, where your name might be registered in total by the council, and you can't be a medical practitioner subsequent. Actionable offense can lead to suspension of registration for 3 months to 5 years or permanent removal of register. This is one thing which I want to tell about the people who are the youngsters, that they cannot claim to be a specialist unless he has an NMC recognized training and qualification in that specific branch of modern medicine. RMPs shall not solicit patient directly or indirectly as a part of a group of RMPs or institutions or organizations or hospitals or nursing homes or corporate hospitals established, owned, controlled or maintained by the appropriate government, local authority, trust, whether private or public, corporation or cooperative. And in the NMC's guidelines, there is a section which has given us at which point of time, what type of advertisements can a corporate hospitals can provide. It's already provided there in the way, the guidelines which says on social media, because today social media attracts so many things, they can change a lot of things in our life day to day. And this is the one which I said, seven different places where you can go about advertising, but then within the 3 months regarding starting a practice, changing the type of practice after acquiring a specialty, change of address, temporary absence of duty, due to your foreign travel or going abroad for some studies, resumption of practice after coming back, succeeding to another practice, that you're trying to merge hospital takeover, public declaration of charges. This is what I said. In a social media, they should not contain anything more than the name of the institution, type of patients treated or admitted, kind of doctors and staff training and other facilities offered, and the fee. And if you don't follow that, level 1 or level 2 of punishments can be imposed if you are found fault. Unethical and professional, I think the comparison on the severity, biases, examples, advertisement punishments, intent and escalation. Repeated unethical acts becomes a misconduct and it becomes directly punishable by your medical councils. Under NMC's regulations 2023, every misconduct is unethical, but every unethical act is not misconduct. Misconduct is a subset with legal and serious consequence. We have talked about the unethical and misconduct at the end for the reason that none of us would get entangled. There is 6 beautiful sections, 5 beautiful sections in the Code of Medical Ethics that we need to follow. It's all that simple. And if you had been a very, very good student, and if you are the one who have a passionate to be a doctor, will never bypass any of these Code of Medical Ethics. We follow it to be the best of professionals in the society. The society is watching us. The medical council is watching us. Let us read our Code of Medical Ethics to be a good citizen and to be a good professional in the society. Thanks to the CMA, and particularly Dr. Jailal, for giving an opportunity to share some of the thoughts about the Code of Medical Ethics. If we need to talk about the total, it takes hours to talk about it. And this is a small which I had given. Every one of you should go back, download, see what are the Code of Medical Ethics as per the NMC's Act. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Jalan sir, do you have any comments or questions, sir?
It is fine. Yes, well explained the difference. That is what we expected, the evolution and how the code of conduct. Because when you talk about ethics, we 3 areas where we need to be very careful. Ethics is a moral principle which we are talking. Legal law is a black and white which says that. Code of ethics is in between, comes in between. Though in a Supreme Court, accept the Code of ethics is also a law. It is punishments are also given, but it is something which is in between that. So all the 3 has to play a very important role in shaping an individual as a doctor. That is one of our objective. Bring in the law, bring in the code, and bring in the because certain areas where ethics can overtake the law. And the Code of Ethics. Code of Ethics always says you can do up to 28 weeks the MTP, but ethics cannot impose that, because when you were culturally and you take a decision morally that I will not do an MTP, that is something. So lawful activities can be in unethical things. Similarly, some of the unethical things can be lawful things. So there is no law to punish you if you are somebody, even if you are making an attempt to hit somebody. The law can punish you only when the actual hit has taken place. But ethics, we say, even when you thought of hitting somebody, that is wrong. So, ethics is something which is more than that. So that's what we understand. So we should know about the Code of Ethics and Code of Conduct. We are fortunately still looking at 2002 and 2012 Code of Conduct. We need to adopt it a little more further, because still the Code of Conduct do not have much details about the AI. There's not much details about the newer things of coming into that, social medias and other things. So the National Medical Commission is under the process of revision of that. Much more things will come, though they have a very glimpse of few things on that social media and AI. I'm sure in the near future we'll have more effort. That is why association like us, Commonwealth Medical Association, tries to bring out Code of Ethics for artificial intelligence, Code of Ethics for our bioethics, Code of principles or code for the environmental hygiene. So these are the other organizations also come into play, brings the code of ethics. The professional organizations also come into play. So all these are very important. So thank you, Ravi Shankar sir, for bringing that into a common understanding. I think Dr. Ravi Shankar is one of the very expert legal luminary in our association.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you for your knowledge and your sharing.
Telemedicine has no code of ethics. Only guidelines are there.
Guidelines
It
are
runs to 30 pages from the NMCs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your words. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure, Kanaivel sir, Rajesh is not still taking up the phone. So I will
Sir,
try
I
to.
request you to complete the remaining part of your talk, sir. By the time I'll try to reach out to him also, sir.
Yeah. Is visible now?
Perfect to go, sir. Make
I
it
think
full screen. And
this 5 things I have explained.
yes, sir. You are explaining when the time you got last, sir.
Okay. So
Thank
I sorry for the inconvenience because I never realized because I was in the area of the current was not here. So now it is I'm fine. This Chanakya ethical leadership we have discussed, which is very important, especially the Rajadharma, and the personal virtues very important. Like what we talk about the 4 cardinal pillars for the ethics in general, like autonomy, beneficence, maleficence, and justice. 4 important things we consider for when you talk about an ethical leader. These are the ingredients or the pillars on where the ethical leadership always binds on that. The first and foremost is the
Full
integrity.
screen, Dr. Jailar, full screen,
Okay.
please.
First one is an integrity. There is something more integrity and honesty. Integrity is the most important virtue. Doing what is right, even when nobody is watching on you, even when it is going to cost you, even when it is not going to be a pleasant experience for you, even if it is painful. Having considering others and your colleagues or the beneficiary as the most important person, and you are doing the right thing in every situation. We know in Tamil there is a proverb called Poimayum Vaimayidathu Purayendha Name Maikuman. This is a little different from that. Even when it is going to be a wrong thing which you are going to do, when it is going to cause good, and that is not considered as integrity. Integrity is what you are going to do, always the good things, always doing that, even if somebody is not watching. The second most important pillar is an accountability. This is what now many of the leaders do not possess. They do not find the ownership for whatever they are doing. They always find fault with others. They do not take the responsibility of their decisions. They do not consider that if there is something bad, they will always put the blame on their followers or blame on their the lower staff. I still remember Abdul Kalam once said, and when there is a rocket launch was being planned, and he has told his subordinate, second in command, if the launch has come in a good way, successfully, please you go out and declare that. If the launch has failed, if there is a hitch has come, I will go out and say, take the responsibility for the failure. And that was a great virtue of, if you see one of the great ethical leaders is Abdul Kalam. He takes up that. So the most important essence in an ethical leadership is taking the ownership of choices which we have taken. The third is empathy, which we have talked in many times in all these 5 days. And every speaker has used this word empathy. Leading with humanity than hierarchy. That is one of the definitions which we say in there. Many times we would like to use with a hierarchy. Very recently, one of the ministers came. He said, we do not want that VIP culture. But we have now learned to live with the VIP culture. We always live and go with the VIP culture, or we go in the top man to the low man. We have, but that concept has to go. When you are an ethical leader, humanity is more important than hierarchy. That kind of understanding the problem of the people, even if somebody is you assign the job and they have to do that particular work, if they couldn't do, there are so many reasons for that. So many probably ifs and buts are for that. And if you are just reprimanding them for they have not done this job because they are supposed to do that. But if you are an ethical leader, you will look into their, put yourself in their shoe and see that. If you are asking our lower grade employee to come by 6 o'clock in the morning, and on fine day, if there's buses not coming from a long distance, they are not couldn't come. I'm not saying that you must accept that, but instead of scolding them, instead of reprimanding them, if you are an ethical leader, you will try to find out what is the reason. Or you must be a person who must be going by the example. And if your office starts by 9 o'clock, if I know one of our dean, someone David is still living, by 7:30 he will be in the entrance of the OPD. And any professor coming 7:30, 7:50, 35, they will look at him, and then it will be very difficult for them to bypass him, or not making them to come the earlier. So let us not make it a hierarchy as an important thing, but a humanity as an important thing. The fourth most important pillar is the courage. Stand for the truth, even when it is you need to stand alone, even when it is wrong. When you have made a statement, if the entire whole media, whole person may be opposing you, may try to find out you, may pinpoint you, may prick on you, and even if you people who are trust on somebody, and they would have find a lot of excuses to not to come. In a leader's life, this always happen. You do something in a good sense, but when it is misunderstood by somebody, or when it is people find fault with that, and the most important people you trusted that they will be there to support you may not be there with you. But even at that moment, even at that time, a ethical leader will never lose his courage, confidence, and he will always face that problem. So these four important pillars, I wish, and every one of us should have integrity, accountability, empathy, and courage. This is another model which we discussed about, that is ethical leadership in a 4V model. And an ethical leader must understand his core values. Many times, this will be the most important crutch of even. If you do not have an inner conviction of certain things, an inner value of things, you will tend to be swayed away by the wind which is flowing on that. But if you want to be an ethical leader, you must be rooted and grounded with your core values. Once you understood the value and the vision of your institution, and which will be revealed through your way of, not by words, but your acts. If you are going to be a leader only by your words, and it is not corresponding with your deeds, the people will not be there. So the values you have has to be translated into the vision. Vision has to be expressed in a not a verbal voice. Even non-verbal voice is the most important thing. Your action, your deeds, the way you behave, way you conduct. Again, it is a cycle which is going on. This 4V model, we talk about the values, and it is an important thing. These 6 elements already we had this, but this is what I again want to stress. And how do you understand a person is an ethical leader? When you are looking at a person, and how do we know he is going to be an ethical leader? There are few things which has been said. By looking at him, or looking at the activities which they do, we can understand the ethical leadership. An ethical leader always knows the internal compass and values, which I have already just now we have talked about, the values of that, conviction of that. And if you are going to say, I have gone to this party, everybody drank, so I also drank. Everybody shouted, so I also shouted. So that kind of thing is not an, you are trusting on your inner values. It is not on somebody else is pressing upon to do something and you are succumbing that. And whatever be the situation, and whatever you do, and it must be born out of you. It must be deep down in your heart. It must be your values which has shaped you, which has strengthened you, which has passioned you. And that should be there. So the ethical leader will always know his values and his principles, his convictions on that. And the second most important character is an ethical leader will be consistently, he will be an ethical. We have seen many leaders who will be having a morning and the working hours, they will be one person. After 6 o'clock, they will be a different kind of person. And we have in many films, and we also see that. And that is a different man, and now I am a different man. Office, they will be one people. House, they will be a different people. And that kind of leadership is not an ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is consistently, whether it is in your working hours, whether you are a doctor in an institution, even if it is your duty hours or non-duty hours, and you are not going to be changed, because it is going to burn out of your inner values. It is not be something which somebody is going to. So ethical leader will be a consistently, ethical leader cannot tolerate when unethical things are happening. When Indian Medical Association, way back in 2018-19, we taken decision, zero tolerance towards unethical activities. IMA is one organization which openly declared we are not going to tolerate any unethical activities, and that is a kind of attitude, zero tolerance. If you are working in a hospital as a surgeon and your colleague has to go for a theater doing a surgery, and if you are seeing that he is drunk and in an inebriated mood, and what you are going to do? Are you going to stop him? Or are you going to say that let him go and face the problem? And if you are an ethical leader, that you need to be conscious of him and activities, and you need to, when he is going to do an unethical thing, you need to stop that. Somebody is going to make a bribe in your institution, and you cannot keep quiet. Somebody is going to do the copy in your examination, and if you are an ethical leader, you cannot allow that to happen. You need to raise voice, even if it is going to hurt you others. So ethical leader is one, when things are happening in a different way, they will always raise voice. Ethical leader is one, he will always do with the fairness. This is the most important criteria. When you are a person who is sitting in the review board, you are not going to judge others by your closeness to you. Somebody may be very good. He has done something good for you. When if he is not good in his activities, it is, you must be very fair enough to raise your voice or say that you are not wrong. This has to be improved. This has to be, not with the way to hurt them, but in a way to uplift them. So fairness is one criteria, which is not going to be decided by their closeness, whether they are good people. You are not going to look people by their halo around them, by the people who has done what is past. It is. I always used to say that every man, every situation coming to is a fresh man for you, and you are not going to judge them by yesterday's activity, and you are going to see them as a fresh people. And when you are, especially when you are a leadership role, and we are doing to the fairness, fair review, and you need to review with what they have done. Many of even the parents, they remember about what 10 years back they have said. Long back you have said that word, and they will bring that. And an ethical leader will always have the habit of forgetting what has happened in the yesterday. And if it has hurt you, never carry it in your heart. Always start looking at people as a fresh people and try to implement that. The next important thing is walk the talk, or the talk the walk. This is a very, very important skill. If I'm talking something and if you are not following that, and if my personal deeds, if I'm not doing that, it has no value. It has meaningless words. So whenever you be serve, if I am saying I am a servant model leadership, and you're going to execute the hierarchical principles and authoritarian style, then nobody will respect you. And if there is a coincidence and concordance with your words and deeds, and that is going to be the big dangerous thing for a leader. And many times people don't accept them. Politically, it may be different. People who talk on the stage and what they do outside is a different thing, but they still have political mass. So that is not what we are talking. We are talking about, if for your satisfaction, you need to be an ethical leader. That means you will speak only that what you are going to do. It is not that you are going to say something big and then you are not going to follow that. And that is a very important thing. And as we have talked earlier, the accountability and responsibility, even when it is going to hurt, it is because of your people who are in the lower level has done a mistake, and it is going to hurt on you, and you are not going to let them down, and you will always take that responsibility. And another important criteria which we talk about ethical leader, an ethical leader will always come up and speak up for his team. I have seen some of the leaders, when somebody who is on the top scolding that team or scolding that group, this leader will always keep his mouth shut. They will not raise words, even in a meeting, even in a review meeting. If somebody is finding fault, they will say, why should I respond? And it is better I am not talking for them. And your team will not respect you in their critical situation. You are rising up and talking for them. You are voicing for them. We are called to be an advocacy, or doing the role of advocacy for the good thing. And many times in the society, when your voice is not heard, and it is a duty of an ethical leader to speak for the team. And many times an ethical leader will raise the concern of something, even when it is unpopular thing. If an organization, when you are leadership, and it is going to be an unethical practice, advertisement, if your organization is going to do the advertisement for a liquor and the cigarettes, and if you are an ethical leader, and you need to raise your concern, maybe people will say it is going to make an income, and maybe the whole group may think that what you are making is wrong, and you may become unpopular. But even when it comes and says that you are going to become, popularity is going to loosen, you are not going to lose your values. You must always say in unethical things or unethical things. And it is not, cannot be magic was. Now we talk about a lot of people who do the mistake when they join somewhere, they will all washed and become a pure people. That cannot be accepted. So you need to be an ethical person, will always raise your concern when that. And most importantly, an ethical leader will always admit his mistake. We are human beings. We are bound to do mistakes. And when someone is pointing that, someone is bringing to that your knowledge, and you should always make it as a point to understand and admit your mistake and share the recovery plan for that. So these are the traits when you are looking at the people and how you are going to see that they are ethical. And I had already told these 5 principles, and these 5 I will quickly go through. Respect the others. An ethical leader will always respect others. It can be a lowermost person. And if you say hello to them, if you smile at them, if you pat on their back, if you ask, have you taken food? And how is your life? How is your children? How is your family? I always spend, whenever you are there, you try to spend more time with your people because if you are talking with a professor, he may not be happy. If you talk with a top person, he may not be happy. But we are going to talk with a lower grade servant. The most happiness will be their due. So always respect others, irrespective of their position. Always try to serve others. Serving is not something big. Even smiling at them. Even when they are there, extending your arms to help them. Even hellos to say hello to them. Even when say, just asking them, how are you? All these are serving. So ethical leader will always try to find out the ways and means to help others. He will always try to show justice and prove that he is going to be the justice person. The honesty, we have already talked about that. And another most important thing is community building. And ethical leader can build the community very easily because you are going to adopt a servant model. You are not going to be the on the top level down approach. You are going to be the below upward approach. So you always will have a community around you, somebody who respect you, somebody who love you, somebody who is there to extend their hand even when you are falling. So that community and everybody has to build for the thing. In the process of ethical leadership, the few things I just want to highlight is one thing which we know, we are all professionals, humanism versus professionalism. And there is a lot of difference between humanism and professionalism. There are certain things we do by a professional activity, and the professional activity is differs something. This is one of the best example is this photograph. This is one of the photograph which is taken by a very famous photographer, Kevin Carter. He's won the best photograph award, which was taken in 1993 in a war, Sudan war. When there is a war is happening, there is a famine and hunger and the starvation is taking place. There's a small, very starved, malnourished child is there. The food packet is poured onto him by the helicopter. And this child is crawling to go and to take take the food packet or the bread which is given. But there is a vulture which is just behind this boy. This is a human vulture, that is, it eats on the human bodies, and it is slowly walking towards that boy with the intention to kill him. And this photographer has taken a photo, and it was published. It is one of the best photographers professionally, but humanistically. And the duty of the photographer must be there to save the person, but not to harm the person. Though it has been the award, there are many ethical concerns were raised, and finally this person has committed suicide because he couldn't tolerate, because people were raising so much question in 1993. Now it has become a passion. Everybody takes the reels, everybody taken selfie. Even somebody is dying, they will take the selfie. But that time it was considered as a great offense. When somebody is in a danger and you are taking a photo, you are not going to save them. But this should be an ethical leader. It is, you are not going to be there for the reels, are not going to be there for something to be the show it off, but your the inner values and the humanism should always pursue on that. Another, integrity, we have already discussed. There is a difference between honesty and integrity, that also we discussed. The second most important thing I just want to emphasize is this, and many times in a life we try to react to any situation. If somebody comes and says or pinpoint fingers on us or accuse us, we always shout at them, react to them in the same tone. But as an ethical leader, you should always learn never to react in the same tone to anybody, but you respond to that in a positive way, in a passive way. I have seen a leader who, when he is sitting in a meeting and somebody is shouting at him, he will say, yes, okay, go ahead, thank you, thank you. And that is one of the very soothing feeling. And if you are going to react to them, I wish and everybody should have this in a deep down in your heart. I will not react to any situation. I will only respond. When you are responding, you are aware of your reaction by stopping and observing. You can identify and become aware of unpleasant and uncomfortable emotion. And you are not going to lead by emotion, but you are going to do with a sense of your knowledge. The third thing I want to emphasize is if you are an ethical leader, you must be a great listener. Then you are a speaker. And always it is good time. Many times the leaders do not have time to listen. I have seen my experience. If you are allowing somebody to come and share their feelings with you, difficulties with you, even if you are 5 minutes, if you are spending to let them let out their feelings, let out their heart. And many times it is the most important healing process. At the end of the time, after 5 minutes of talking, if you are patiently heard them, they will always get healed and they will go back. Even if you can't do many things for that, you cannot alleviate that problem, but still that will be the greatest healing. So a great leader will always listen. So if you want to be an ethical leader, you must learn the art of the listening. Listening is a thing. Many times when we listen, we will find some of the solutions also. We'll be able to talk with them the best way to respond to their problems. That will be easy thing. So always a good leader will be an ethical leader. What are the challenges we face as an ethical leader? And balancing organizational goals and ethical standards. This is the most important difficulty. I have seen many times when you are working in some of the corporate hospitals, they always fix a target. I've seen some of the doctors has done a cataract surgery for immature cataracts. Somebody has done a coronary angioplasty for when it is not really indicated because of the pressure of the organization. And this, an ethical leader can never do that. And organizational goals cannot deter your ethical standard. The peer pressure and political situation, influence cannot do that. Even when somebody is putting a pressure on you to bypass something, especially when you are doing organ transplantation. And if you want to, somebody is putting a pressure to bypass the queue, bypass the standard thing. An ethical leader can never bypass that. And any kind of threatening which is coming to you, but you will be able to tolerate that and absorb that, and you will be not do that. And the ethical leader will have a problem of deciding sometimes something is good for short term, but not for the long term. And you have to decide between them. The pursuit of good profit is attractive. However, it is often cost on too much. And ethical leadership takes the long-term approach is also a priority concept. It is not going to be the which is very good on a short-term approach. And similarly, personal versus community. When we have a COVID time, we all ask the community, the people to wear the mask. Though it is going to be a problem for a person, but on a community, it is going to serve. So an ethical leader will always look at a long-term objective and community-oriented objective. But still, an ethical leader will have a lot of gray areas. An Jehovah Witness patient coming, he will not be able to accept the blood transfusion. Now we are going to, when it is come to your bribe, and somebody is going to, hello? So please mute yourself, sir. Somebody is going to come to you with a gift and memento and bribery, and how you are going to do. These are the challenges. And this already we have talked about that. So another important few words which you remember is a pity, sympathy, empathy, and altruism. Pity, we know. I acknowledge your suffering. Many times we go in a car and we see somebody has an accident. We just peep there and say, oh, poor man, he's bleeding. So that is getting pity on others. That is not an ethical leader will not stop short with the pity. Even sympathy. Many times somebody comes and say that fellow has beaten me, and we will say, yes, that fellow is bad, and he should be also given back, tit back, and that kind of we sympathize for without doing anything, just words wise we talk something. That is also not fair. And empathy, we understand the people's problem, and this is one of the most important lesson. The word which we and in your experience as a leader when you are there. And if you can practice this art of empathy, that is one of the greatest power it gives you. When you can pursue things from the people's perspective, when your community perspective, in the patient perspective, that is going to be the great value. I'm so impressed by the word which our Honorable Chief Minister used, the patient experience in the government hospital, patient experience in an institution. So that we need to pursue, that we need to understand, and how much if a leader can pursue the feeling of that. But the next most important, the empathy is one of the most. If you are putting at that 6, and from one side it looks like a 6, and other side it looks like a 9. This is many times what the leader pursue may not be the right thing. We need to always put us in the shoes of other people and do that. I'm not going to talk much, but one word I need to talk to you on altruism. This is one of my most favorite word. I repeatedly use the word is altruism. Altruism is when we act to promote someone else's welfare, even at the risk or cost to ourselves. I wish a leader should always have this in mind. It is not our selfish interest. It's not for our personal gain. And we must do everything for the welfare of others. And if your action speaks that many times, so there are a lot of stories there. I'm not into that. But one, I finally I'll close this is the one story which I like. It's not a story. It has happened once in an hospital. It is a neurosurgeon. He was supposed to operate on a child who was badly injured, and a neurosurgery. There is a subdural hematoma is there, and this gentleman has to come. He is a very famous neurosurgeon. The surgery was fixed at 3 o'clock. Everybody is waiting. Patient is waiting. Stops are waiting. But this man has not turned up. The doctor has not come. 4 o'clock, he has not come. 5 o'clock, he came very rush. He never responded to any people, not even greeted the attendants who are there, not even put a single word to them. With a very great speed, he entered into the theater. He finished his surgery, saved that individual, and came out. Even after coming out, he has not talked anything to the attendants. He never said anything to that people. He just rushed away. The people got furious. The attendants were very emotional. They said, "What a arrogant fellow this fellow. He's not even opening his mouth. He's not talking anything. He's not even apologizing for coming so late." They were started shouting at that time. That time, the theater staff came, and she explained the situation. This doctor's son, he's 25 years old, met with a road traffic accident and died. And his body is kept in his house for a funeral at 7 o'clock. And all arrangements are being made in his house for the funeral of his own son at 7 o'clock. But realizing there is another guy is going to die if I am not going to operate at a particular time, he has, amidst the bed of his funeral bed of his son, he has rushed to the hospital, operated on the child, and saved the individual, and then gone back to do his duties as a father, to do the funeral service for his son. That is altruism. That is what a leader is expected of you. Maybe it is something high standard, but still in a slow level. And even if it is something extra time you need to work, extra mile we need to go, we need to spend one more sitting with them. If somebody is not understanding the topic, we need to talk with them once again. If it is a slow learner, you need to spend little more time for them. If the person is not able to pick up your speed, then you may have to spend time with them. So that kind of altruism is the most important leadership, which we talk about that. Friends, the whole objective of this whole program of ethical leadership is bring not just a doctor with ethical concern, but leaders of ethical concern, experts on ethics, who will stand for that firmly, courageously, or passionately. They will stand for that. So ethical leadership always builds trust and create a culture where teams feel respected. Your people who are with you must be feel respected and heard, and they must be motivated. They must feel enjoy to work with you, not as a curse to work with you. And the leaders who act with integrity and fairness, you will be able to strengthen the long-term organizational reputation and guide clear, transparent decision making. Developing ethical leadership skills helps individual and organizational meet challenges responsibly, balancing values and your practical goals. Ethical leadership is essential for sustainable success, shaping business, social and global systems for the better, especially in our profession, which leads with the human life, which leads with the humanity, which thousands of people are coming to with the tears and pain. And if you are an ethical leader, and you will be able to wipe down their tears and bring back smile in their face with a great satisfaction of that. So there are a lot of leadership styles, but what is the best we expect in the bioethical concept is in mixed with ethics principle, autonomy, doing no harm, always do good, beneficial, be personally integrity life, passionately, emotionally attached with the people, be altruistic, then definitely the society will benefit. So thank you very much for your listening. I'm sorry because there is a disruption has taken place. Over to Kanagavil, sir.
Shankar sir? Sir is last. Ravi sir? All right, friends. The leadership talk now is open for discussion. Do you have any questions or comments to make, please? All right. So, Jailal sir, what should be the next step of action, sir, please?
Yeah, now I think we had people who have joined this fellowship course, and next is our 11th and 12th. We are going to have our global summit in Kanyakumari. It is one of the most important thing because a lot of leaders, most of these leaders who talked here, including Dr. Russell from Australia, Joy from Kenya, Professor Ved Prakash Mishra, and Krish, and most of the speakers will be there in person in Kanyakumari. And that will be a golden opportunity to interact with them and get to know more about ethical standard. It is their life, when individuals, their life itself is a book for encyclopedia for the for ethical concern. So I wish and I invite all of you to come and join with us. In case of extreme situation, we will have the against like a similar type. We have a hybrid link also will be served previous to the meeting. And those who have finished, there will be a certificate of fellowship certificate course. Certificate is International Fellowship Certificate on Bioethics, which will be issued by the Commonwealth Medical Association and endorsed by the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons, Glasgow, and the Global Chair of Bioethics of Australia. It will be a big A3 size certificate will be issued to all the people who have been part of this fellowship certificate course. We will also have a convocation for the FCMA, that is a fellow of the Commonwealth Medical Association, people who are contributed more to the society for more than 10 years in after their professional life will be honored there. There are almost 20 people will be given the fellow FCMA there, that's it. So it is going to be a great fun. So I invite you to Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari itself is a beautiful place where the three seas meet each other, and a panoramic place. Hope to meet you, many of you there in the Kanyakumari. Till then, we wish you all the best. Thanks a lot. We were a little skeptical about that this course and this program. I'm so overwhelmed with joy that many of you participated, actively participated. So I wish all the best for you, and thank for Kamnagabir sir for coordinating and putting it in a proper perspective. Thank you for all the delegates and all the speakers for their valuable time spent with us. So hope to meet you all in Kanyakumari.
Thank you, sir.
Very much, sir. Thank you very much, Kanagal sir and
Thank you,
Jailal
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Excellent session, sir. You definitely love to become a ethical leader as Jailal sir and you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Develop ourselves, yes. Meet at Kanyakumari, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this is Dr. Ibrahim. I just wanted to give a feedback, sir. So I was just thinking how we'll be having 4 days of discussion on a topic called bioethics. But I was really surprised to see so many things, and I have learned so many things in these past 4 days. And thanks to the organizers and all the speakers for giving a wonderful highlight on various aspects of bioethics and general practice in our medical things, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir. Hello.
Yeah, yes, please.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. It was such a really captivating lecture. We could see that you have spoken from what you have done in your life throughout in leadership roles. Thank you so much, sir. We enjoyed all the days of all the sessions, sir. And today your session was really an example of how a leader should be. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Friends, with the permission of the president, we call the online session close, and we look forward to meet you on the on-site program. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
I just want to
Thank you.
thank each and everyone for their active participation. I personally thank Dr. Jailal sir and Dr. Kanagavel sir for taking all the efforts, and you have just opened the eyes of each and every one of us, getting into a new horizon of what is ethics, how we should be a good practitioner. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay.